On my wedding day, my parents went on a trip to Hawaii and just left me a gift. When I opened it, my eyes, my name is Emily. I am 26 and I live in Dallas, Texas. The package was wrapped in gold paper and tied with a red ribbon. For a brief moment, I hoped my parents had changed and were finally being kind, but when I opened it, a terrible smell hit me. My wedding dress was inside all burned and ruined. On top was a folded note in my mother's handwriting. It said, "Let's see how you get married now." My hands didn't shake and my heart didn't race. I just stared with a small smile. They thought they had broken me, but they had no idea who I was marrying. My parents were experts at being cruel and calling it parenting. They always compared me to my brother. They ignored my achievements and celebrated. Their love was conditional, and I could never get their approval. I still had hope that on my wedding day, they would finally be by my side. Instead, they booked flights to Miami on my wedding day. They didn't just leave me. They made fun of me with a hurtful gift. That was the final lesson I learned. I owed them nothing. The truth is, I had seen their anger growing for years. Every time I got a promotion or did well in my life, my parents saw it as a threat. They said I was too independent, too proud, too much. When I met Robert, they dismissed him before they even knew him. They called him ordinary and unworthy. They never bothered to learn his last name and didn't see the quiet power that came with it. His family, the Smiths, were a very old and rich family with a lot of money and power. But I never showed off their wealth. I married Robert because he was strong and always supported me. My parents thought I was marrying a weak person, so they attacked. They burned my dress and went to Miami, sure that my day would be ruined without them. They forgot one thing: I don't break down, I build. I didn't cry and I didn't scream. Instead, I went into the room where Robert's mother was waiting. She saw the package and the ashes, and her face got hard. "Sweetheart," she said calmly, "we'll take care of this," and they did. Within a few hours, a new custom dress arrived. It was flown in by private jet and tailored overnight by people who owed the Smiths big favors. While my parents were drinking on a beach in Miami, I was being fitted for a dress that was worth more than their entire house. I didn't want revenge at that moment. I just needed to be patient. The wedding was perfect, not because of the dress or the place, or the shiny rings, but because I was with people who chose me, who valued me, who didn't need to destroy me to feel powerful. But I knew what would hurt my parents the most. Not the ceremony itself, not my promises, but the pictures. The clear proof of what they had underestimated and lost. So I waited. I posed and I smiled under expensive chandeliers. The next morning, I posted the photographs, not just of me and Robert, but me standing with the Smith family, the billionaires they had called regular people, the in-laws, who treated me like their own daughter. The words I wrote were simple, just family. And then the phone calls started, 1, then 5, then 50. By the end of the day, I had over 1,000 missed calls. My parents, my brother. Numbers I hadn't seen in years. Voicemails filled up my phone. My mother's voice sounded desperate. "Why didn't you tell us? We didn't know. We should have been there." My father's voice was angry. "You embarrassed us. You shut us out?" They didn't apologize or feel sorry for what they did. They were just worried and greedy because suddenly their discarded daughter was no longer a problem. She was a way for them to get what they wanted, and they had ruined their chance with their own hands. I didn't answer a single call. I let the silence be louder than any words. Sometimes revenge is not about fire. It's not about destroying things. It's about showing someone clearly that they no longer matter. My parents wanted me to be broken and weak instead. I was stronger than ever with a family they could never touch. They tried. To humiliate me with ashes, I buried them with my silence. And as the calls kept coming in and their desperation turned to anger, I had a glass of champagne, looked at my wedding photos and smiled. They were right about one thing: I'll never get married with them there. But it's not for the reason they think. I got married without them, and it was the best choice I ever made. What lesson did you learn from this story? Please let me know in the comments.